The first step to start using an external package is to open our browser and go to pub.dev, which, as previously mentioned, is the official repository of packages that can be used in Dart and Flutter projects. We can use the usual keyboard-based search capabilities to identify the best package or packages we want to use. There are plenty of different packages available, so my humble suggestion is that before trying to reinvent the wheel and spending a significant amount of time creating something that already exists, we first check whether we can simply reuse an existing package. For example, if our idea is to embed Google Maps in our application, we can first check whether there are packages that provide this functionality. Alternatively, we could take the opposite approach and go to the official Google Maps documentation to see how to implement it ourselves. If we simply search for Google Maps, we will find several different packages. Even if we focus only on the first few, without claiming they are necessarily the best, we can see that besides having different names, they serve different purposes. For instance, one package may be designed for Dart and Flutter with a focus on web support, while another might support the web as well as Android and iOS. Another important aspect to consider is the metrics, the number of likes, scores, and downloads a package has received. Higher values generally indicate more reliability, so it's not just a matter of picking the first option in the list. We should also consider our specific needs, the features offered, and how well established the package is. If we assume that we want to use a package called Flutter Toast to create toasts, we need to modify the file called pubspec.yaml. To do this, we have two options. Option 1 is that we don't manually modify the file, but instead execute flutter pub add followed by the package name. In this case, we simply specify the package we are interested in, and the latest version will be added to the project and downloaded automatically. As mentioned, the file is not modified directly by us, but automatically by the system. Option 2 is to open the file ourselves, it's a text file, and identify where the new packages should be added. We should locate the section under Dependencies and add the package there. At the time of creating this content, the version of Flutter Toast was 9.0.0, so we should also specify the version, which can be easily retrieved from pub.dev. Once the file is updated, we must run flutter pub-get to download the required packages and add them to the project. There are two important aspects to highlight. The first one is that we have two imports, the usual material package, and the second one where we import Flutter Toast, since we want to use it in our code. If we import the package without adding it to the project, the code does not compile. If we then look at the callback associated with the elevated button, specifically the onPressed function, we can see that we use something like fluttertoast.showToast, which displays the message hello. This is what appears when we click the button labeled hello. So we have a button, and by clicking it, we display a toast message. The example is very simple, but it's enough to give an idea of what we can do. Let's move on and start introducing something a bit more complex. Whenever we develop our apps, we usually want to support different devices. One could say that we are only interested in smartphones with slightly different screen sizes, but we might also want to support tablets, smartwatches, and other devices. To do this, we should become familiar with two types of layouts, responsive and adaptive. The first one, responsive layout, should be used whenever we want our widgets to stretch and shrink smoothly. For example, when the screen size of a phone changes slightly, we want the UI to adjust gradually without abrupt transitions. On the other hand, a layout is called adaptive when we introduce more significant changes. In this case, we use different predefined layouts for different classes of devices. For example, on larger screens, we might use multiple columns, while on smaller screens, we may switch to a single column layout. Flutter defines several screen size categories, and we can design specific layouts for each one we are interested in. Most modern apps use a combination of both approaches. They are responsive for small adjustments, such as differences between smartphones, and adaptive for more substantial changes, like switching from a phone to a tablet or to a smartwatch. Let's now consider a few simple examples. We have already seen a widget called Expanded. The idea behind using an expanded widget is that it can occupy all the available space. In this simple case, we don't need to go through every single line of code. We have two containers with width of 100 and 200 respectively, and the third one, the orange container, which is wrapped with expanded. As you can see, the size of the orange container changes significantly depending on whether the orientation is portrait or landscape. This means that the horizontal size of the two containers, the blue and the green ones, remain fixed, while the third one, the orange container, expands to fill the remaining space and adjusts accordingly. We can also use another widget called Flexible. A flexible widget allows its content to be sized relative to the other elements in the layout. In this case, elements are sized proportionally. For example, consider again three containers, blue, green, and orange, wrapped with flexible and assigned flex values of 1, 2, and 3, respectively. This means that the available horizontal space is divided into 6 parts, 1 part for the blue container, 2 parts for the green one, and 3 parts for the orange one. So the size of each container is always determined proportionally based on the flex values assigned to them. One important note: do not use flexible or expanded on a widget that already has a fixed width, as this may lead to layout distortions. These are just two of many examples. We will see more in the next lesson.